Today we're going to take a look at running the audio-video equipment here at Grace Presbyterian Church. We're going to look at all three phases. We're going to look at how do we start it up, how do we run it, and how do we shut it down. We're going to start out by turning the lights on in the sanctuary. Alexa, turn on the sanctuary lights. All right. The next step is we're going to go to this closet here by the kitchen. When we go in this closet, we're going to turn these bottom two left on. That will turn the amps on that we need it. If we're running the floor wedges, then we'll turn that one on as well for the monitors. But for most of the time, we'll just need to turn on number 39 and 41. Now we'll make our way up into the sound booth. Notice we have three computers or three monitors set up. The first thing we want to do is we'll turn that power strip on. Then we'll turn on the two computers. Then we'll take our keys and we'll unlock the top, the bottom. There'll be a switch down here that's going to turn on all the power. That's going to turn the soundboard on and all our video outputs. And if we need to get in here, this is where the wireless mics are. We'll open that door as well. We want to keep this door open. This will allow the heat to get out. All right, so we turned on both the computers. We've turned on the power strip. We've got the soundboard on. Now we're going to log into the computers. Both these computers have the same password. We will type them in. There's also an outside user. Make sure you are, that's for scouts or whoever else might be using it. So make sure you're logged into the worship account. So we will log into both of our computers. We will also turn this on. We will uncover the joystick. And we will also turn on the rear and the front TVs. Each of the remotes are labeled with the proper TV on them. All right, right now we're going to focus on the middle computer, the middle monitor. This is used for all of our graphics that will go to the right and the left front TV. That will have the lyrics and that sort of thing on it. So really this is the primary computer that will be used for the 8 o'clock service. It also gets used in the 10:15 service, but since we don't stream in the 10:15 service, you don't really need to mess with the one on the right too much for that early service. So the first thing we're going to do here is we're going to go down here to the bottom. There is a, right now it's a black circle with a 7 in it. That's MediaShout 7. We're going to click on that, and it will take us a few seconds to pull it up. Okay, we are going to open up. There is typically an 8 a.m. version or just a regular version. That's the 10:15 version. So we'll go ahead and we'll open up whichever date it is that we need. So here we go, it pops up. Now, when you come here on a Sunday morning, you should have no need to edit what's going on. Everything should be set up. So what we can do is go up here and do presenter view. We'll turn that on. When you go to presenter view, that does not allow you to make any changes. So all you can do is put stuff up on the screen. So what we can do is if you hit F4, when you hit F4, that brings up just a slide for the day. then you just wait. When you click on the script control, you will see that this cue right here is set to automatically play at 7:55. So 5 minutes till the service starts, it's going to automatically start going through here. After the current cue plays, it will go through and play the countdown and title again, which is what this is called here. So right here we see that this title is going to play for 7 seconds. Then it will go on and continue to play. Some of them will be at 10 seconds. When it gets to the bottom, it's then going to go and it'll start over. And it'll just run through there until it tells it to do something else. So again, you don't have to do anything. It just automatically at 7:55 a.m. it will do that. It will also automatically have a timer on the screen. And we can scroll down here. We'll look at the same thing. The number 2 cue, the prelude, it's automatically going to play at 8 o'clock. So right when the service starts, that's automatically going to play. And we see that there's no time limit there. So that means it will stay there until you do something. So once we get to the service starting, that's when you take it over. We don't need this up. We can hide that. So again, you can see here's what we'll go through. Then we look here and see what's going on here. We also have it set to, even if something messes up and the timer's still going or whatever, if you play anything below the prelude in order here, it will not have the timer up there, but it should go away anyway. So it's not 8 o'clock in the morning, so it's not going to fire automatically. So we will fire it. And you will see here that it's got the main display, so that's what is actually on the TV screens right now. And it shows you what is coming up next here, the main display next. So you'll see what's getting ready to come up and what is on there. And you'll see a little highlighted area on the slide that is currently being projected. So then it's just a matter of hitting spacebar. When you hit spacebar, you see that it goes to the next one. You see a little red area on the inside of there. And then you're just hitting spacebar to get to the next one. That's the order of worship for that week. Then in between, we are just in an image. We keep that until it's time to go to the hymn. So what I like to do when Ginger starts playing the music for the hymn, I like to go to the title slide, let people know what's coming up, and then as she's getting ready to start the first verse, then you go ahead and click over to that. The thing with doing the slides for songs is make sure that you don't wait until here upon my breast. You don't wait until they're done with that. As they start saying breast, that's when you go ahead and hit the next line, so that way they know what's coming. And again here, when it says me glad, as they start saying glad, then you can go ahead and hit the space bar. So again, it's just a matter of hitting space bars to advance. There are a few occasions, if for some reason you mess up, you get in the wrong spot, oh no, where do I go? Well, I need to go here. You can double click on it and it'll take you straight to there. Now I will show you here, we have a slide here where when we end the affirmation of faith, we'll go over there and it's going to play for 5 seconds and then it will automatically go there. And then we just wait until the scripture. So during the 8 o'clock service, that's all you have to worry about. During the 10:15 service, we do add one more step to this. We are going to click on this icon right here. That's the ATEM software control. So when you do this, this has all of our lower thirds that display on the screen during our live stream. So what we're going to do is we're going to click on the macros, and we're going to pull the macros over here. Now, what the macros does is it is set up. For instance, here we can look and see this shows still slide number 3 for 7 seconds. When we look here, number 3 is this week was Brian Hartzog, so it showed his for 7 seconds. We pull this out of the way just to get it out of the way. We don't really need to see that. But all this stuff will be up here. So what you do when you run a lower third, like I said, during the 10:15 service, we'll click over here. We're going to click on Run. After we've clicked on Run, we'll click on EOC, and then we're going to hit this play button. When you see that, you see it popping up on the screen. It will display for 7 seconds, and then it will go off. So similarly, at the beginning of the anthem, when you look on here, if there's special music, whatever, we'll have the title of it, and you just simply click on it, hit play, and it will pop up. Now, the only tricky thing is, because you have clicked on that and clicked off of this, if you hit spacebar now, it will not advance because the active window is your ATM screen. So you need to make sure you click back on that. So now, when you hit spacebar, it will go to the next slide. At the end of the service, one of the things that you will need to do is go to the end credits and click on the end credits, and that will show the staff. It will also display some of the items that are needed for copyright and that sort of thing to make sure that we are giving proper credit and showing that we have the proper licenses for what we are using. But again, all the lower third stuff, that is just 10:15 service things to do. That you don't have to worry about that in the 8 o'clock service. All right, so we do have one person running that middle computer. We have somebody else typically running the cameras. So it consists of 3 things. You have the monitor. The monitor shows the preview of what's going to come up next. The program is what is actually being sent out. And then you have your previews of camera 1, camera 2, camera 3, we don't have hooked up all the time. And then the computer, which is what's coming off of the worship computer. So basically, 2 things you need to worry about. One is which camera we're using, and then which source we're using, and then where the cameras are pointing. So the way it works is to choose the source. We're going to hit, when you hit one of these 1, 2, 3, or 4, again, we typically don't use 3, but if we hit 1, that's going to show up here in the preview. Okay, to get it over on program, all right, we're going to hit the auto button, and when you hit the auto button, you see that it has a nice little smooth fade. If we hit the cut button, it does an abrupt cut. I like the auto better. Again, I like the nice smooth fade. So again, we choose between the different cameras, 1 or 2. If it's red, then that is what is being active. Green is getting ready to go. So again, that allows you to see what's up there and get it ready. If it's something where the hymn is coming up or something like that, we might want the scripture being displayed on there, so we can again pull it up in the preview window, and then when it's ready, we just hit the auto button, and boom, that's what's being displayed. So again, you just have your the sources, pull it up for preview, hit auto, and it goes. Now we've got to worry about how we get the cameras situated. So we have camera 1, camera 2 button here on our joystick control. Right now, camera 2 is green, so when we move camera 2, we can move it around with the joystick, up, down, left, right. We can twist it to zoom in and out. We can use this to zoom in and out, and move it around. So what we typically want to do is get here in time to look at the order of worship, see what's going on, so you can plan out where you're going to cut and when you're going to cut to the different shots. One of the things we don't want to do is move the camera while it's being displayed. It can be unpleasing to the eye. So let's say we want camera 2 to look at the choir. The choir's getting ready to come up, and they're on the left side of the stage, so we want to move that on there. Instead of going straight to it, we can say, okay, let's pull camera 1 up. So we have camera 1 on whoever's talking on the podium. Then we can take camera 2 and we can go ahead and move it and get it in place. And that way when the choir goes up, bam, now we're going back over to the choir. So the main thing about the cameras is again, looking at the order of worship, writing down where your camera shots are going to be, knowing which camera you're going to use or the computer, and having that planned out so that way as things come up, you can have your shots already planned up so you know exactly where the camera's pointing and where you're going. So here's our soundboard. It's able to do a lot of different things. We have the sliders, we have the mute buttons. You're able to use this physical board, but what I'm going to do is show you how we can use the computer instead of the board, and it will make some things a lot easier if we do that. All right, so here we are at the biggest monitor, and what this computer does is it will run the sound as well as the live feed. So what we're going to do is we're going to open up this X32 edit icon. It's going to ask you if you want to connect to the X32, which is the soundboard that we have. We're going to say connect, synchronize. We're going to go mixer to PC, and that will bring all the settings from the mixer, and that will make them come to the PC. So it'll take a few seconds, and it will transfer everything on here. All right, so we're all set up now. Everything that we do on here will also happen on the main soundboard. The other thing we're going to do is we're going to bring up this is the OBS Studio. We're going to click on that, and you'll see the three little windows here. The first thing you're going to do is you're going to right click on here, and you're going to go to full screen projector, and you're going to click on the preview, and you're going to click on this MXXJ2 board, and we're going to click on that. And what that's going to do is that's going to send this right here is our live feed, and that's going to send it to the rear screen as well as room 15 and any other live feeds that we have in here. The next thing we're going to do is we'll click on this, and we're going to click on scenes. All right, when you click on scenes, it's going to bring this other window up. So the thing that's nice about this is you're going to be able to see your scenes, you're going to see the board, you're going to see your live feed as well. So just a thing about the board real quick when you look at it here. If you look at 132, there's 32 inputs. If you click on the 1 to 32, it's going to show all 32 inputs on here, okay, which is nice to be able to see all those. There's the 1 to 16 plus the DCAs, the 17 to 32, so you see half of those, which again, that's nice to see, but we don't necessarily need to see all of those all the time. So what we do is we have two tabs down here. I've called one 8 o'clock service and the other 10:15. So the 8 o'clock service, this is something where we only see the sliders that we need for the 8 o'clock service. Now here, you may see here we have one called guitar, one called Desk 32. Okay, we don't necessarily need these right now. So I'll show you what we do. If these should be set up every morning for you, but if for some reason we get here and, oh, hey, we need another mic for something, or something's happened and this needs changed. If we click on edit, it's going to bring up all 32 plus all your other mix bus, inputs, outputs, everything on here. So we're going to say, you know what, we don't need Roy, we need Joanne. We don't need the guitar, we need the lectern. Maybe we're not using the computer. I know this Sunday we are, we'll keep it on there. And then we're just going to click edit again. We also don't need the desktop 23. So now we have the computer, the piano, the lectern, the hearing system. This is the main channel speakers. This is the left-right. So even if you had the main channel goes through the left-right. So if this is all the way down, then you're not going to hear anything. So this is really the main. But I like to keep your outputs separate from the inputs. So what we're going to do is we're going to click on the move button, and we're going to move Joanne over here. That way she's with all the other stuff that we're going to be doing, and then click on the move again. And now you have all your inputs together and then your outputs. 10:15 service, again, will be the same. We're going to click on edit. We're going to get rid of the guitar. We're going to get rid of the Desk 23. We're going to add Joanne. Then we're going to click on move. We're going to move Joanne over here, and then click on move again. So again, it's here we're using the pulpit, the LXY and the RXY are the choir mics that we have on the floor. We have the piano that is mic'd up, and then we use the overhead choir mics. And then if you notice on the 8 o'clock, we have the lectern instead of the pulpit, because that's what we use. So we're going to look at the 10:15 service. 8 o'clock service is a lot easier. Basically for the 8 o'clock service, all we're going to do is, we're not even going to look at the show control over here, the scenes, all that kind of stuff. All we're going to be concerned with is the sliders and the mutes. I say that, but the first thing you're going to do, okay, right here, let me explain a little bit about this over here. So we have cues, scenes, and snippets. And then we have mixer safes, mixer cues, mixer scenes, mixer snippets. Okay? So the difference between these and these is the cues, scenes, and snippets, those are saved on the computer itself, where the mixer cues, scenes, and snippets are saved on the board itself. So these are all these are the mixer scenes, so these are all the old scenes that have been put up. If we click over here on these scenes, and these are the 3 that we'll be worried about, these are the ones that are on the actual computer. So what is a cue, a scene, and a snippet? So a scene is basically about every setting that could possibly be on the board. Your sliders, your mutes, how things are labeled, the inputs, the outputs, how things are routed. Everything is in a scene. So it takes a few seconds when you click on a scene to load it. The advantages of scenes are, it doesn't matter who comes in here during the week. If anybody comes in here and hits any button and messes things up, the first thing we're going to do on Sunday morning is we're going to make sure we click on the scene that we want for this week, so we know that it's going to be exactly the way we want it. So this, again, the scene is all the stuff. Okay, the snippets are our 32 channels, our faders, which are the sliders, and the mutes. Okay, that's all that's saved on that. So, going through here, on number 0, this snippet is going to make sure that the piano and the 2 left choir mics are unmuted. The number 1, the pulpit's going to be unmuted. Okay, so these are all going to be set up beforehand, as well as the cues. So if we look at the cues, the nice thing about this is what we're going to do is we're going to look whenever we boot up the computer every morning, every Sunday morning, the first thing we're going to do when we get this up is we're going to click on this number 1. What this is going to do is it's automatically going to load the scene that we want for the week, and then it's going to play the snippet. Well, that snippet is just the mute all. So that way it's just going to get the board exactly the way we want it. Again, it's going to take a little while because it's loading the scene. Okay, now everything's the way we want it. Now we'll click on Prelude. So when you double click on that, now, okay, boom, see how quick it just brings it up? So for the Prelude, it's 8 o'clock service at 10:15 service. Piano and left choir mics. You can see here, look, the piano and the left choir mics are now unmuted. So when it goes to the welcome announcement, when she walks up, hit OK, boom, there we go. Joanne's mic is going to be unmuted, as well as all the choir mics. So what that's going to do is just get the ambient noise. If we have somebody speaking, maybe they give an announcement, maybe something's funny, it'll pick up some of the laughter or chatter or whatnot. So all we're going to do as the service progresses is we'll just click on there. While that announcement's going on, you can go and double click on it because it doesn't change until you hit OK. Once you hit OK, it's pretty instantaneous. Now, the thing you have to realize is you can't just sit back, do this, and not pay attention. This is a tool that makes it a lot easier to go from one part of the service to the next. But you still need to make sure you're looking over here to make sure, okay, is Joanne soft for some reason? Sometimes maybe her mic might be off, and you need to say, okay, we need to turn the pulpit on because she doesn't have her mic up somewhere. Or something, maybe it's catching some feedback for something. So you still need to be paying attention to the sliders and the mutes and that sort of thing. But this, because there are sometimes so many different mutes and unmutes, it allows you to just with the click of a button change everything to the way we want it, instead of having to manually go through and hit all the mute buttons. So again, that's a very handy thing. Each week, you can see the name there. We should have it set up each week for the service that is getting ready to take place. So for the live stream, goes through OBS. So the way it's routed is the ATEM board where where you choose which camera. That sends a signal to this computer, and that's what's here. So whatever's showing up on this is what's going to our live stream. So basically all we have to do for this is once the 10:15 hits and that slide comes on, Ginger starts playing the piano, all we have to do is hit start streaming. Once we hit start streaming, you'll see a little red dot here that will indicate that it is streaming. It will start recording automatically, so you don't have to hit start recording. It automatically, once you stream, it records as well. So a couple of things that you can do with this. If you want to hear just what's going on in the live stream feed, because there are, it's a different mix going to the live stream than it is in here. If you click on solo here where the live stream is, if you click on solo, that's going to bring everything to the headphones so you can hear exactly what is going to the live stream. So that's a good little check. But again, you just click on that solo button for the live stream. If you want to hear what's going to the hearing system, you can click on that, and you can hear what mix is going to the hearing system. And those things are a little bit different because the hearing system, we don't have the piano routed to that. You know, we don't have some of the loud things routed to the hearing system. The other thing you will notice, you know, when you look at the sound as well as the streaming, this meter right here, this is showing noise that's being picked up right now. So if we click on this mute all, you'll notice, boom, it goes down. There's no sound coming in. So again, that's just something to kind of keep your eye on. If there should be sound coming out of there, but there's not, we have an issue. Another thing, just a troubleshooting thing, if for some reason, if you have OBS up and the source, the cameras, whether a USB cord gets knocked off or it gets turned off or anything like that, if it goes away and turned back on, you're not going to see that on here. It will just be a static image. So if you ever lose your source, or if this is turned on before your ATEM Mini, then you need to make sure you restart OBS so that way you get a live feed. So if it's happened from time to time that we don't see the feed or it's static for some reason, so that's just, you know, again, reboot it. If you have an issue, just reboot it. When you get done, it'll, instead of start streaming, it'll say stop streaming. Hit stop streaming, and it will also stop recording as well. And that's it. You'll be done. At the end of the day, it's just a matter of closing this out. Closing everything out, shutting the computer down. All right, so this drawer right here is where we have our headsets. It also has 3 of these right here. These are assisted listening devices, so I typically just set those out on the ledge. One gentleman uses his own headphones, so we encourage people to bring their headphones, but we also have a couple earbuds that we can set out for people. But if people need these, they just turn them on and can hear, helps them hear. Pastor Joanne's mic is here, Joanne only, so if we have a guest pastor, we need to use a different mic. But this is her headset. We have rechargeable batteries. Every other week we need to charge the batteries. But those all are here. When we put them up, we don't want to put it on there too tight because we don't want to tear up the wire. It's very fragile. So we'll just kind of loosely wrap that around there and set it back in. And again, that typically just gets set out on the ledge, and Pastor Joanne will get the mic. All right, so the service is over, job well done. Now it's just a matter of shutting everything down. Close out the windows. And for this, we'll just hit the power strip. We'll put this back on. We see a little cutout on one of the sides. That's for the wires out here. Then we just need to come over here. Turn that switch off. Lock everything up here. And we'll come back in here and turn those off. That's all there is to it. Thank you for your help.